Hello! In the following, I would like to discuss how to access the file of an international application. I would first like to talk about some of the general principles that apply, how to access priority documents in particular, and then also any other documents held in the file of the International Bureau. Then I would like to address the question whether you can also access the file of other PCT authorities, and last but not least, talk about how to access certain Chapter 2 related documents. Chapter 2, of course, is the International Preliminary Examination part of the PCT procedure. So in terms of general principles, there are really 2 points of interest here. First of all, access to the file could be of interest to the applicant, him or herself. For instance, if he lost a particular document in his file and he wants to regain access to that document, or he just wants to know what exactly is the content of his particular file. The other point of interest could be access to the file by a third party. So not the applicant, not his own application, but someone else's application. And one of the fundamental principles in this context is that, of course, before international publication, everything remains confidential as far as third parties are concerned. The situation, of course, is different for applicants. Applicants at any time have full access to their applications and the file of their applications, and this is the applicant, and anyone authorized by the applicant has such access. Do keep in mind that this access today also works electronically. Even before publication, through ePCT, applicants can have access to all documents in their particular application. Of course, also offices have access to information. They need to have access to information about a particular application. So designated offices would have access to any information which concerns the Chapter 1 procedure, and an elected office, once a demand for international preliminary examination has been filed, they would of course also have access to anything relating to the Chapter 2 procedure, the procedure before the International Preliminary Examining Authority. Now let me talk about a particular document that third parties are often interested in getting access to, and that is the priority document. Now here basically priority documents are available to third parties, but only after international publication, and not if before international publication the international application has been withdrawn, the priority claim has been withdrawn or has been declared void. And another condition which needs to be fulfilled in practice, of course, is also that the applicant must have already furnished the priority document. And that would explain sometimes why even after publication, even though there is a priority claim in the particular application, maybe the applicant did not yet furnish the priority document, or he has asked the receiving office to prepare and transmit the priority document to the International Bureau, but we simply have not yet received the document, thus access cannot be given yet to this particular priority document. Access to priority documents, the easiest way to get to them is of course electronically. They are available after publication on our Patent Scope website. You could also request paper access, but that would be subject to the payment of a particular fee for this service by the International Bureau. Now, how about other documents in the file of the International Bureau? And there's a very important distinction to be made. For international applications filed before the 1st of July of 1998, the general principle was that documents held in the file of the International Bureau were confidential. Third parties could not get access to any documents. And this has changed for international applications filed on or after 1st of July 1998. As of that point in time, documents held in the file of the International Bureau are generally available after international publication to any interested third parties. There are some important exceptions. First of all, purely informal documents, exchanges between formality examiners at the International Bureau, for instance, they would not be publicly available. Also, certain documents are not made available as of the international publication date, but only as of 30 months from the priority date. Which documents are concerned? Well, this is the written opinion of the ISA. Informal comments may be submitted by the applicant after receipt of the written opinion of the ISA. Then the IPRP Chapter 1 or a translation thereof. These are documents only made available as of 30 months from the priority date. Another set of document which is only made available as of 30 months is the IPRP Chapter 2. That's the final document that comes out of the International Preliminary Examination Procedure. Do also keep in mind that there's no access at the International Bureau to documents other than the IPRP Chapter 2 that belongs to the International Preliminary Examination Procedure. So documents from the file of the IPA are not made available through the International Bureau. Now, how do you practically gain access to documents held in the file of the International Bureau? Again, the easiest way to go about it is to go to our website, go to Patent Scope, go to the particular application that you're interested in, and there you will find not only the information about the publication of that particular application, but all documents in the file of that particular application. Now, this works for international applications filed on or after 1st of January 2009. If you happen to have an older case, there you need to still rely somewhat on paper access, and for that you need to send a request to WIPO directly. We would then make copies for you, send them to you, but unfortunately in this case we would have to charge you a special fee because this is additional work for us as well. Now, I explained how to get access to the file of the International Bureau. How about access to the file held by some other of the PCT authorities? Now, interestingly enough, under the PC Treaty and Regulations, third parties do not get access to the file held by the Receiving Office, the International Searching Authority, or the International Preliminary Examining Authority. No access is provided for. Can you get access at least at the designated or the elected office level? And there basically the PCT has an opening clause. It says it is permissible, but it's subject to whether the national law that applies to the particular designated or elected office provides for it. So really the PCT permits it, but does not require it from the designated or elected office, and therefore you need to look at the particular national law to see whether under that national law you have access as a third party to the file of that particular office. Now, how about the Chapter 2 related information? I mentioned earlier this is not accessible in the file of the International Bureau. So what kind of documents am I talking about? Well, for instance, the demand form or any replies the applicants might have sent together with his demand form to the IPA, maybe certain second written opinions issued by an IPA. They're all not accessible at the International Bureau. And they're also not accessible, as I said before, at the IPA. So where can you get access? Well, here the only path that is available to third parties is to go to the elected offices. And again here, if the national law of that elected office provides for access to the national applications, they should also provide for access to anything which relates to a PCT application and which has entered the national phase before that elected office. But again here, it could really depend on the applicable national law, and so the situation might not be the same before these elected offices. And if you gain access, then in this instance you would have access to certain information which is contained only in the file of the IPA, but to which the elected office has access to as well. Now, I hope you learned in this short little presentation something about the general principles concerning access to the file, the procedure to be followed to gain access at the International Bureau, and also how to possibly gain access to certain Chapter 2 related information.